friends. Cheers to the early crew, whoever you are. Feel free to say hello in chat. I believe I left chat open for everybody. You don't have to be a subscriber or anything. It's a total free for all. Okay, folks. Hello. We'll give it a couple of minutes for people to arrive, and it is very, very hot here in the tent. I have moved to a cooler part of the tent now. It's about 34 degrees. It was 40 over in the bedroom, 40 plus. These are Celsius. What's 40? Double to 80, knock off 10%, call it 70, add 32, that's about 100. Yeah. Sheds. Paul, if I remember correctly. I rarely do, but hello, my friend. How are you enjoying your bank holiday weekend? You got the Monday off, eh? Rich is in the house. Jed is enjoying his weekend. He's got a thumbs up. Yeah, okay, folks. 5 people, okay. Thumbs up, folks, if you haven't already. And you haven't, because I think I was the one that did. I'd like to cheat. Cheers. I am treating myself to a fairly cool beer. I couldn't sit here in almost 40-degree heat at times and drink hot coffee. That wouldn't have worked. So I did put a couple of cans in the cool box. Not working that well, to be honest, guys. The thermometer inside the cool box says 19 degrees, which, I mean, it's outside. It's kind of sort of roughly in the sun, although it's shaded by the solar panel. But last year it was hitting 13. It needs work. Okay, shall we begin? This is TrampCast, episode 69. Nice. We will be discussing the week ending May the 18th, 2025. That's last Sunday, not yesterday, but the one before. We are broadcasting this on Monday, May the 26th, 2025, which is Spring Bank Holiday in the UK, Memorial Day in the US. Respect to your to those who served and those who fell over in the US there. I am Delta Mike. The channel is Delta Mike, down and out in Torrevieja. Down and out. Homeless. A tramp. A hobo. A vagrant. An indigent person. A person of no fixed abode. Some might say a bum. Someone who sleeps rough on the streets, or in my case, in a field. I did put another word in the other week, didn't I? Vagabond, that's kind of the Spanish word, or close. That's the closest English word to the Spanish word that they use for tramp. So I did add that. I somehow left it off the list this time around. There you go. So Delta Mike, down and out, all those synonyms for a down and out tramp, in Torrevieja. Torrevieja is a city on the southeast coast of Spain, Costa Blanca South. About, roughly speaking, 50 or so minutes south of Alicante Airport. If you arrive at Alicante, you can go one way to Benidorm. If you go the other way, you come to Torrevieja. This is TrampCast, where we discuss the successes, the failures, and the other happenings in a week in my life as a tramp, or an Englishman trapped in Spain by circumstance, depending on how you want to look at it. The format of the show. In a moment, we will begin the numbers round. We typically begin with the numbers, which is, we take the episode number, in this case, 69. Now. And we have some facts about and related to the number 69. We follow that with the thank yous for the week in question. As I said, we're discussing the week ending Sunday, May the 18th, 2025. So the thank yous for the people who helped me, whether with PayPal donations, money in the real world, visiting and bringing me things here in the camp. The thank yous to the people who helped during that week. Following the thank yous, we discussed the themes of the week, the major incidents, the major ongoing issues throughout the week. Following the themes, we take an in-depth look at each day during the week and the events of the days. And sometimes, if we have any thoughts on the matter, we discuss the upcoming events, the things that are likely to impact my life during the following week or two after the week in question. That's the format of the show, folks. So grab a coffee, grab a beer, depending where you are and what time of day it is and how you're feeling. As I said, I'm in a field that is, let's think, we're on 34 degrees here at the moment. Like I said, I'm in a cooler part of the tent because of the through draft. In the bedroom over there, it was above 40 not long ago. Cheers to the subscribers. Cheers to the early arrivals. Cheers to the donors. Anyone who's donated, thank you. We're still reveling in the fact we're in a new tent. It's been about a month now, maybe, but no issues so far. Tina hasn't broken it. The last tent lasted 2 weeks before we took damage from the dog. We're doing better this time around. Let's see how that pans out. Okay, folks, as I said, this is episode 69 of TrampCast. We're dealing with the week ending May the 18th, which is just a week ago. And as it's episode 69, some facts about the number 69. The number 69 is a semi-prime, which means that apart from 1 and itself, there's only one other pair of numbers that are its divisors, and they are both primes themselves. And they are the number 3 and the number 23. 3 times 23 gets you 69, and those are both primes in and of themselves. The number 69, if you take the square of 69, you multiply 69 by itself, and you take the cube of 69, so 69 times 69 times 69, and you look at the two resultant numbers, they use all 10 digits, and only those 10 digits. That's a bit different. So the square of 69 is 4,761, so 4, 7, 6 and 1, and the cube is 328,509. And between those two numbers, I wonder if I can show you. It's going to be reversed, so no, that's not really going to work, is it? Maybe if you can use your imagination, you can see 4, 7, 2, 1, 3, did I say 5, 8, is that 209? I'm trying to read backwards. No, 328, not 58, 328, 509. But there you go. Those two numbers between them, the square and the cube, use all 10 digits and only the 10 digits. That's an interesting little quirk of maths. It is the largest, here's one, for the number nerds, if there are any number nerds out there apart from me. So a Google, not a Googleplex, that's something different, but a Google, spelt different to the search engine, but they based their name on this thing. G-O-O-G-O-L, not L-E. G-O-O-G-O-L is 10 to the power 100. That's a 1 with 100 zeros after it. The number 69 factorial, so 69 times 68 times 67, down to 1, is the largest number whose result is under a Google. Now you know. The number 69 can be described as strobogrammatic, which means it's the same viewed the right way up or upside down. Basically, if you rotate it 180 degrees, it still says 69. I know what you're thinking. I know you guys. It is also, obviously, for all the 12-year-olds out there that are giggling away, it is also a sex position because of its pictographic representation, which can be treated as head and legs kind of intertwined in the way that you know. It is a famous sex position, and as a result of which has led to the online meme where any mention of the number 69, no matter how innocent, results in somebody saying, nice. Hence the title of, I have to be a 12-year-old myself, come on. I'm a bloke, we're all 12 at heart. So that's why this episode is kind of subtitled or titled, nice. There is no international direct dialing code that is just 69. That does not get you any one specific country. Again, it is a base of 3-digit numbers that will get you, amongst other places, the New Zealand territory of Tokelau, which is 698, Micronesia 691, or the Marshall Islands 692. There's some significance for me, those of you that know me really well. The Marshall Islands. Okay folks, we always have one from the periodic table. The number 69 on the periodic table is thulium, with the initials TM, as all of the recent entries have been. This is from the lanthanide series and is therefore a rare earth element, rare earth metal, silver grey and easily workable. The second rarest of the rare earth elements, and thus attracts a particularly high price. Like many of the other rare earth elements, lasers and X-ray devices are common uses for these things. Named after Thule, which is a mythical Scandinavian region. Not to be confused with Zool from Ghostbusters. That was the Sigourney Weaver character after she'd been taken over. or that was the character that took her over, I guess, is the better way of saying that. So Thule, not Zool. It is connected with Erbia and Ytterbium, and found in minerals, in those same minerals. Never found pure, like most of the rare. I think this is why the rare earth minerals are named rare earth minerals. Some of them are not actually particularly rare, but they're not found in their free form. They're almost always in chemical combination with other elements, and often really difficult to extract. It was only modern processes that freed them. The most common source at the moment is China, although there are other deposits, quite significant deposits in places like Australia and America. But I think the mining process means that they're not too keen on digging them out unless they really have to. As I said, the uses include lasers, X-rays, superconductors, and arc lighting. But you will also, surprisingly, find thulium. It has a property to do with how it fluoresces or how it glows, hence the arc lighting use. But it's used in banknotes. It's in your euros. Is thulium. It's an anti-counterfeit measure because it's difficult to reproduce the same effect in other ways. So there you go, folks. Those were some facts about the number 69. Nice. I am 12, what can I tell you? Okay. That was the numbers, folks. That was the numbers. If you haven't considered it already, a thumbs up is always appreciated. Subscribe, perhaps. Consider it anyway. If you've seen 3 or 4 or more of my videos, if this is your first time here, don't subscribe. Please don't. I'd rather have subscribers who are actually going to watch future videos. First time in, you see one video, it might not be like any of the other videos, and then you never watch the videos again. And having subscribers who don't watch counts against a YouTuber. So I'd rather that you make sure that this is somewhere you want to be and someone you want to see before you take the plunge and subscribe. If you are here live on a Monday afternoon, bottom left hand corner, look for the word live on a red dot. You've thrown me now. You've thrown me. Who was that in chat? I should have mentioned the yin yang. I should have. It's the same thing, isn't it? It's the pictogram. It's the intertwined, but in a less sexual way. Okay, while I'm in chat, John Oldwinkle. Hello, my friend in Aintree. Yeah. Hello. Cheds is Paul. He's yin and yang. 13 degrees here and windy. That's Northumberland or thereabouts, Geordieland, yeah. 13. Well, you'll have your shirt off at 13. You'll be out sunbathing. You're made of sterner stuff up there. Finished work three years ago. Okay, that's good. And there's Mountain View. I'm not sure did I get a name for you, Mountain View? Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. Delta Mike and Tina Doggy Darling, we're all good. Yeah, how's everything with us? We're fine, my friend. It's very, very warm in the tent. I've had the fan on most of the day. Had to turn it off because it would be too noisy over the microphone. It might even be noisy now. There's just a breeze kicked in, a very nice breeze for my liking, but I'm just conscious it might be blowing across the microphone. I think that's me up to date with the down to your shorts, Cheds. Okay, Paul. Where was that, folks? I was asking you to check for live in the bottom left corner if you are indeed watching this on a Monday afternoon in Europe. Might still be morning in stateside. But if you know whether you're watching live or not, just check for the little red dot. Whether you're watching live or you're watching on demand, if you're watching this later as a recording, I encourage you to have the chat visible. I will reply to these guys. I won't always remember to read out their comment. So if you want to actually have context and follow along, best to actually have chat visible. Either chat here while you're live, live chat replay if you're watching after the event. If you don't know how to access chat, touch the player and you will get a speech bubble kind of icon. If you're watching on demand, you're watching the videos after the event, it's a double speech bubble, one behind the other. Click that. It might come up blank. You might have to dismiss it, bring it up a second time, and then it will populate. That's how it works for me. And while you're there, in the chat, click the cog, and you're looking for all messages, not top messages or top chat. The November man, hello my friend, back again. New yesterday, and you're here again already. We're not usually this quick a turnaround between programs, between streams. But those are the there is one final message. I am a tramp. I am living in a field. It is difficult to get by. If you're of a mind to, and only if you've got the cash spare, there is a PayPal link. Donations are appreciated. Not necessary, not required. Look after yourself first. If you need the money more than me, and a lot of you do, then don't be... I've had to tell people in the past to not send it because their need was greater than mine. So there is a link. at the top. It's pinned at the top of chat. If you're in a position to, and if you're of a mind to, certainly not required, but all donations are gratefully received and usually acknowledged, unless I mess up. Speaking of acknowledging, let me just have a quick swig of a cold drink. It is still, it's falling slightly. We're down to 33 here in the tent. The sun is working its way to round and behind now and starting to get a little bit lower. It'll be a while yet, but we have got a nice breeze coming through. But speaking of acknowledging donations and thanking people, we now have the thank you round. As a Tina, hey, in, get back inside the fucking tent. In, this way. The fuck are you doing, girl? Come here. Come on, Daddy loves his girl. You're just not going to wreck the bloody tent. I was just telling people how the tent's lasted a month without you breaking it. And there you are trying your best. Urgh. Dog. I love her, but she's a monster. Tina, death and destruction. Where was I, folks? I was talking about the thank yous. This is episode 69 of TrampCast. We're discussing the successes, the failures, and the other happenings in a week in my life as an Englishman trapped by circumstance in Spain. We are discussing the week ending May the 18th, so that's a week ago. And it's because we're behind because we had bad weather a couple of months ago. I noticed the weather forecast saying we were going to have a week of bad weather, so I started a playlist called The Week of Hell. And at the end of the week, the bad weather carried on. And at the end of the next week, the bad weather carried on. And in total, we had about 3.5 weeks of bad weather. And I was in a broken down tent with no roof, no walls, and that literally was dumping water into the tent whenever it rained. I was lying in a pool of water basically at times. So I christened that the Week of Hell, and we got behind. There were days where the weather was so bad I couldn't do the TrampCasts. So we got 2 or 3 weeks behind. This is us now catching up. So we are discussing the week ending Sunday, May the 18th, 2025. And here are the people that I am thanking. I'm acknowledging their donations and their assistance, their help during the week ending May the 18th. Here we go. This is the thank you round. As ever, folks, almost every week, and the weeks when she's not mentioned, it's usually my fault with bad note keeping. My friend Karen called around one day with her friend Kelly, and they brought me some boiled eggs, some food, some water, and some other bits and pieces. Yeah, a couple of bags of food, if I remember correctly. Tied in with this, and I still think Karen won't acknowledge this, but I still think there was a mystery donor, I'm going to call it, of 20 euros, a mystery donation. Basically, shortly after Karen and her friend left, Karen Kelly left, I found a 20 euro note next to my bin on the outside the tent. Free, loose. Can't have been there long, it would have blown away. Tell me that that's not either Karen or Kelly dropping money off. They deny all knowledge. But as we say around here, for donations of 20 euros or higher, that ain't cheap. So thank you to the mystery donor, whether it was Karen or Kelly, or somebody else. There was a suspicion of someone sneaking around outside the night before, but I don't know. Now, a lady down the road, Spanish lady, long black hair, never caught her name. She doesn't stop to talk to me much because she's frightened of dogs, and Tina in particular, it seems, even though Tina's not mobile anymore. She used to be. Tina used to run after this lady a little bit when she got away. I call the lady Morticia after Morticia Adams because of the dark hair, you know, like 3/4 of the way down her back. She saw me, and put 20 euros on the floor, put a stone over it and backed away because dog. But if ever she sees this, I hope she doesn't take offense at the nickname I've given her. But thank you very, very much, Spanish lady down the lane. Thank you, thank you. Now, a Swedish guy, Jocke called around one day, and he brought some beers. I can't remember whether it's an 8-pack or a 10-pack, but he brought a proper brand. I think it might have been Amstel. You'd have to watch the videos to see. He brought some beer and a bag of ice to put in the cool box to keep the beers cool. Obviously, we sat and had a couple each, and he went on his way. But he did ask me. I will get to. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe when we're in the. If I can find him quickly in the week. I'm not sure what day it would have been. Jocke, here he is. Jocke came around, it was the Tuesday. He brought the beer and the ice, and he asked me to give a shout out to his Finnish friend, Jare. So Jare, from Delta Mike and from Jocke, hello my friend, and thank you for your support. Apparently he's always, whenever Jocke's coming over, Jare's asking him, are you going to go and see Delta Mike? Are you going to go and see Delta Mike? So a shout out for Jare. Kippis, amigo. Kippis. Finlandia. Okay, folks. We're getting through them. Now, later in the week, so when Karen and Kelly came around, I believe Karen was taking Kelly to the airport. But a few days later, Karen was leaving for the airport herself. So thank you to Karen for helping me out. I mentioned a couple of weeks ago that while we were swapping tents, I broke my prepayment card. I had a debit card that Karen got for me, and I managed to somehow sit on it and bend one corner, which doesn't sound like a big deal. I bent the damn thing in half entirely one time, and it just leaves a white stripe across the plastic. But this time I managed to bend it across the corner, right, like from the middle of the card, from the top middle, over the corner, right over the chip, and the chip popped right out of the card. So that was fucked. No way to pay for anything. These PayPal donations that you send, I send to Karen, she puts on the card for me. There was no, that leaves me lost. Karen's headed to the airport. She's going back to England for however long. I'm going to be stuck. I've got all this, funny money in PayPal, but how do I pay for things in the meantime? Karen to the rescue. I send her my PayPal funny money, and she brings me notes of the realm. Spanish, well, euros. She brings me the euros, so that I've got some money in my pocket, hopefully enough to last until she gets back and brings me a new card from England, a new prepaid debit card. So thank you to Karen for stopping off with with converting the PayPal cash and calling around. But as Karen always does, nothing's ever straightforward. A couple of bags of food. There's a whole video of the Karen. She dropped them off. This is Friday afternoon, I think it was. I think Friday. Was it Friday or was it Thursday? Oh, I don't know, folks. Karen, I think there, look. Yeah, okay, it was Friday, 6 o'clock-ish. Karen called around, and not only did she bring me the money and help me out with the PayPal funny money to real money conversion, but she brought me a couple of bags of food and some water, bottles of water. And if you've seen the video, you know already. But hidden, she says not hidden, she says she just forgot to tell me. When they come over, they get some packets of cigarettes, and if you buy enough, you get a it's not a miniature, it's not like a shot, but you get like a third of a bottle of vodka. and it's labelled vodka not for resale or something like that. She snuck that in with the bottles, in with the water bottles. I think she does it so I don't notice. She says that she just forgot to tell me about it. But Karen, I don't know if you're here this time around, but thank you so much for not just the help in the week in question, the week ending May the 18th. This entire visit, or the kind of the two visits. There she is. Look, hello. This this entire visit, two visits. You broke, folks. She came over and she had to nip back to England in the middle. But the help she's given me, the new tent she picked up in England in a camping shop, a outdoor pursuits kind of shop. Karen just arrived. Okay. But all the help, the shopping, multiple times with the shopping, the water. I mean, where would I be without water? So everything, the food, obviously the food and the shopping trips. I still suspect this last time, the shopping trip you did, and I've given you the money to try and cover it, but I still think you're letting me off light and that I haven't given you enough to cover it properly. Especially with PayPal fees, bank fees, and the fee, the losses when you convert, currency conversion. There are losses, and I think maybe I still owe you extra. But thank you to everyone we've just mentioned, Karen and Kelly. Whether it was Karen that dropped the 20 euros in the camp, whether it was Kelly, or whether it was a mystery donor, I don't know. But thank you to those. Thank you to Morticia, as I nickname her. If you ever see this, Spanish lady down the lane, please don't be offended. I just need something to reference you by, and you don't talk to me long enough for me to get a name. Yoka with the beer and ice. Karen for the money and the putting money on my phone card, because it is lodged with the phone company, so I can still kind of use it to pay for my phone. But the currency conversion, changing PayPal funny money into real world money, and all the food and drink and water and everything else. Just thank you everybody involved. Karen, helping me put the tent up during this last visit, bringing the tent, all of that. Thank you to you and your family. Hello, Christine. You want to be on about 32 minutes 40, Karen, to tell Christine, if she's not watching now. If she's watching now, hello again, Christine. Okay, folks, those were the thank yous for the week ending May the 18th, 2025. Now, after a quick swig, after a quick drink, we will discuss the one major theme of the week, in addition to my gratitude to everybody who helped. I don't want to take it as read, my gratitude. I should mention it. I am thankful and grateful to everybody. I've just done the thank you, so it seems a little over the top to again be expressing the gratitude, but maybe I should move these sections so that they're not next to each other. I don't know. But as well as my gratitude and my gratefulness, my thanks to everybody, themes for the week ending May the 18th. Everybody's leaving. That's my one theme for the week. Yoka was leaving the country. Steve left the country. My friend Ismo left. Karen and family left. And the week before, my friend Tom left. And I think the week before that, Anthony left. So I'm not left with many here. Adele is not far away. She's a friend from the before times. She's more of a friend now than she was then. I think I've mentioned this before. I would have said acquaintance before I was homeless. She's much more supportive, more of a friend now, I think. I think that's right. I think that's fair to say. I don't want to offend her, but I think that's true. And I got a couple of new acquaintances, recent acquaintances, in country. I don't know how well those relationships are going to develop, but they're new, who knows. But I don't, at the minute, I would be hard pressed, like in an emergency, if I had to go to someone's house, or if I had to contact someone and say, come and get me. I haven't got a long list. So yeah, everybody leaving. It's a thing. It's a thing, folks. That and the fact that I'm still adjusting to the new tent. I still haven't brought everything across and in, although I did try last night. I brought some things across, but that's not the week we're talking about. Karen's back soon. Okay, my friend. Catch you later. Okay, folks. Really, that is the one outstanding theme for the week, really. The fact that people are leaving. We did have a bit of rain in the middle, but Tim Timoney, hello. Are you just arriving? I don't think I saw you before now. I might not have been watching closely enough. Let me know, folks. I noticed the audio when I played last night's TrampCast Hangout back was a little crackly and poppy. You must let me know. If there's too much crackle on the audio, I can exit. It's a little bit dangerous. I can exit the stream and try and reconnect to it, and sometimes that fixes things. Let me know how the audio is, if there are any issues like that. Or if I'm too quiet or too loud. Let me know. So folks, those were the themes for the week. Next up. Hello, Tim Timoney. Just arriving. Okay. Next up. We delve into the details for the week. This is where we look at the successes, the failures, the other happenings in a week in my life as an English tramp in Spain. Trapped in Spain by circumstance, I would say. We had a guy in the chat the other day calling me all the bastards under the sun and what have you, but not everyone's going to agree with my take on my situation. We yeeted him out of there. He's gone. He'll never... He can watch. He can post. He'll see his posts. He'll see his posts in chat and in comments, and nobody else will. I won't even remember his name. Okay, folks, if you're sitting comfortably on almost 38 minutes, I will lubricate the larynx and we will proceed. We begin, as we usually do, with the Sunday prior to the date in question. We're looking at the week ending May the 18th. So Sunday, May the 11th, after the previous TrampCast. So Sunday the 11th of May, I did TrampCast 66. And just afterwards, this was the one, 66 was the one where I started late. As a reminder for those of you, I overslept on the bed. I fell asleep in the afternoon. And I think I was an hour or two late getting started, late finishing, and therefore no time from ending the one TrampCast to starting the TrampCast Hangout later in the Sunday evening. There won't always be one straight after an actual TrampCast. So there's TrampCast proper, which is what you're watching now. The TrampCast specials, where I have a specific topic I want to get off my chest or rant about, often involving the police, but not always. Sometimes it's power cuts. But as well as the TrampCast proper, the TrampCast specials, there are TrampCast Hangouts, which they're fairly new, only 3 or 4 weeks old, and those are just random. I power up the stream. I might come pre-prepared with a couple of topics, and the conversation goes where the conversation goes. I try and steer away from particularly contentious issues in the Hangouts. We do touch upon politics. We do touch upon religion. We touch upon race sometimes, but we don't want to go too far into the weeds and offend too many people and go too far. So there's a management thing there, but that's the Hangout. It's more loosely structured, it's more random, and it goes on for hours. and you give me a topic to talk about, and I will take you on a journey, usually. There will be tangents. There will be tangents from tangents, and tangents from tangents from tangents. So on the evening in question, after TrampCast 66 finished, minimal preparation time enough for a dog walk and a little rest, but no real preparation, but into TrampCast Hangout number 10 we went. Relatively short episode, I think it was about 2.5 hours. I was quite tired, I'd not had much rest the night before, and I'd not had much of a break in between the two TrampCasts. And this was a night where we had movement outside the tent. Animals one side, possibly people the other, a couple of instances, and then definitely one because it was Pepe, the Spanish guy from the other side of the field. Now this is during the TrampCast, so I'm rushing outside and Tina's barking. She wants to go and eat somebody, but her back legs don't work. She doesn't get to go and chase people the way that she would have once upon a time. This was also the night where, while I'd been doing the standard TrampCast, the normal TrampCast, but I was doing it late, I'd had the doors open as they are now, but it was late, it was dark, or getting dark. All the moths and all the flies came in. So later on, when I'm doing the TrampCast Hangout, we're being swarmed by the little buggers. And yeah, I messed up. I've got to get these doors closed an hour or two before it goes dark to reduce the incidence of moths in particular, but also flies. But it was a fantastic, I enjoyed it was short, as I said, 2.5 hours, the TrampCast Hangout. Shorter than most, but enjoyable nonetheless. So thank you to those that attended. And if you have never attended one of our TrampCast Hangouts, folk, come and give it a go. They're all right. I watch them back within a day or two, typically, as a quality control kind of thing, and I quite enjoy watching them back. I've also started recently making notes and corrections. Sometimes I'll say something off the cuff, and because I'm recording on the phone, broadcasting from the phone, I don't get to go and fact check myself. Sometimes my friend Jack Attack will go and do it and will tell me I'm wrong, or give a nudge and a correction. Sometimes someone else in chat will, but sometimes my comments go unnoticed and I will be mistaken on a topic. It's only happened like 3 times since 1979. It's not a regular occurrence, but I've started making a list of clarifications and corrections, and with timestamps, and I think they're going to be good. They're entertaining. If you're in a workshop, if you're doing something at home for 3, 4, 5, 6 hours, if you don't have to watch them all in one go, you can break them down and watch them in chunks. But they're quite entertaining. They really are, if I do say so myself. And I don't just mean me. It's chat that makes it work. It's chat that makes it happen. You guys. So, yeah, come along, join in. And while you're there, just like while you're here, hit the thumbs up. Consider subscribing. Maybe consider a donation. If you find me entertaining enough, or if you find me pathetic enough that you want to imbue me with some money so that I can survive. I am a tramp. I live in a... Look, let me show... For anyone who might be new and who doesn't know... Here we go. Turn the camera around. I am in a tent, look. It is... There's no messing. It is a tent. I am in what you might call a field. I certainly call it a field. There is just a lane. I don't think you can see. Can you see the... If I do this, I can't see it, but if I do that, can you see the lane? Can you see the road out there? I don't know if you can or not. I couldn't see the screen while doing it, but I am trapped in Spain by circumstance. My bank won't let me have my money. They don't believe I'm me, and so for 2-3 years now, they haven't let me have my money. I'm stuck here. I used to get a lot of trouble from the police. I now have a criminal conviction. I don't even know what for. I never appeared in court. I was never asked Do you plead guilty? Or are you innocent? A process happened, and at the end, paperwork arrived, and I'm now guilty and have to pay a fine. Foreign countries, they do things different. It's like the past. They do things different there. But I'm building, folks. I arrived in this field with nothing but I arrived in the park 2 months before that, literally with nothing, or hardly, one holdall with my belongings. And I've built from there. I had a couple of picnic blankets. I found a mattress by a bin, the type that goes on like a sun lounger. And I've built up from there with the help of people, like you, with the help of friends like Karen and Damien and Simon back in the day. The lady down the road that I mentioned earlier, Morticia, she gives me 20 euros, maybe every 10 or 20 euros. It's not a fixed thing, but every couple of months. My friend Sven arrived in Torrevieja looking for a place to rent. Family circumstances changed, and he bought a place out here, and he regularly sends me a contribution. People like you guys, people like Owen, the Irish guy who gave me this watch, a 2 terabyte hard drive, an old tablet, and a bunch of other things that I struggle to recall on the spot. But people like you, these are just normal folk like you who've helped. They see that I'm in need and they've helped. So yeah, I don't want to go on. Donations are an option. No, I've just given it the hard sell, haven't I? I didn't mean to. No pressure. So this was the Sunday night, doing the TrampCast, having the doors open too late, and then doing a TrampCast hangout afterwards. So, Sunday night into Monday morning, my friend Ismo was flying home to Finland, and he was leaving early. I think something like 3 or 4 in the morning he was setting off. It's going to be a long day of travel for him. Finland's not around the corner. And once he gets to Finland, he's got to drive to like the top end of Finland, bordering on the Arctic Circle a lot of the time. He drives coaches for the ski resorts and things. The last time I saw him before he was just here now, he told me I wasn't going to see him again until like October, November this year. But he's got him, the ski season is kind of at a close there or thereabouts, but he's just got another job elsewhere, and he managed to get a couple of weeks off in between the two. So he came out to Torrevieja. I only saw him once, but Ismo, my friend, keep peace. Cheers. But yeah, this part of the theme for the week is that everybody's leaving. So Ismo was flying home on the Monday, and he's got a long day of travel ahead of him. This side of the journey, but more so even after he lands. It's a long flight to Finland, and then he's got an even longer journey once he gets there. He told me maybe I'll see him again in August or September before the ski season starts. Again though, that seems variable because the snow doesn't fall the way it used to. Now on the whole, I had a quiet day Monday, mainly on the bed, managing my power, my solar panel, my EcoFlow. I got a fan and a cool box, which isn't really, it's using the power, but it's not really doing the cooling. A little bit annoyed with it at the minute. Now I was feeling a little bit under the weather, with a bit of a fever for a day or two. But like I've written here in my notes, no time for illness. I can't like be laying in bed for a week. You know what I mean? I got to walk the dog. I've got to feed the dog. I've got things to do here. I've got to keep managing my power and moving solar panels around. I've got strings of Christmas lights, some of which are solar powered. I've got lamps that are solar powered, power banks that don't take a charge through the USB port anymore. But they've got a solar panel on, so those have to go out. Managing these things, you got to go out like 3 times a day, 4 times a day, and point them in different directions and give them a different angle. to maximise the power that you harvest. So even though Tina can't really get anywhere, I haven't done this yet, have I, folks? I haven't introduced my lady. Hey, babe. Tina, girl. Hey, you gonna come here? Here, babe. Here we go. Here we go. Look at you. Oh, say hello to the peoples, Tina. Can you see? Oh, okay. She's turned to you. You see the back of her collar? It says Tina. My friend Anthony. He's a leather worker. He makes these things. Brought that for us. That was a nice surprise. Tina, girl. Hey. You gonna say hello? You're not gonna say hello properly, are you? Okay. Let me turn it back to me. She's the star of the show, but she's too aloof. She can't be bothered with you guys. You'll have to make do with me for now. I am hot, folks. It's still hot, hot, hot. We're well above 30 still, yeah? 32? Yeah. And that's with a nice breeze. That's with a cooling breeze. We're still on 32. Where was I? So yeah, things to do. No time for illness. Likewise, never had COVID that I know of. Not had much in the way of illness. I did have a 3 or 4 day thing 18 months ago, maybe more, where all I could do was get out of bed to do the necessaries for me and for her, walking her and taking care of my own ablutions, shall we say. But I in my adult life, I've rarely been ill, rarely take tablets. The last few months has been a bit over the top with painkillers, maybe 3 a week. Some weeks, the bad weeks, 3 or 4 a week. I try to keep it at 0, but hey. So no time for illness, folks. No time for illness. Things to do. Got to keep going. So yeah. So I'm saying here on the Monday with my slight fever, didn't even have time to watch back the TrampCast from the night before, the proper TrampCast 66, as I normally would. Like I said, I watched them back partly as kind of quality control. How was the audio? How was the lighting? Was I in too much of a silhouette? Was the wind blowing in the microphone? Did I say or do something stupid? But also I watch them back. I quite enjoy them. They do entertain, especially chat. I don't know if anybody said anything recently, but okay, there's Tim. I can always rely on Tim Timoney to flood the chat. Here we go. I'm not sure where some of that goes, but okay. Now, on this particular day that I'm talking about, this would be Monday the 12th of May, when I didn't watch TrampCast back, I accidentally left the cool box on a bit long again. So, once the sun moves around and the shadow gets on the solar panel, we still get some power until the shadow gets about halfway across. And I'll leave the cool box running. But sometimes the shadow gets ahead of me, and so there's no power coming in, and I'll leave the cool box running. And we can start the night with the EcoFlow already down to 85 or 80%, sometimes less. So yeah, once the sun was off the panel, things deteriorate a little bit quickly. But at this point, according to my notes, I'm not sure I quite remember the day itself, but it was a cloudy, late afternoon, early evening was cloudy. Sometimes when I'm low on power, or lower than I'm comfortable with, I'll do what I call chasing the sun, which basically means, let me show you. Do you see, beyond, ignore the grey bag, the big grey cover, do you see those logs and then those two planks that are sticking out this way. I would typically take the solar panel and stack it facing back. I can't do it, can I? Facing back towards us. I take the EcoFlow and the solar panel over there, lean them against those two planks, and catch the late afternoon or early evening sun. But it was a cloudy day, so there was no point trying to top it up from 85 to 100. Sometimes as well, while I'm doing that, I'll plug my phone in and get my phone up to 100% at the same time, or try. But on this occasion, it wasn't worth trying. There was nothing to be done. So we had to start the night with the EcoFlow already down, or somewhere around 80%. And again, flies and moths. And I'm doing this thing. When it gets dark, I'll bring a lantern out of the bedroom and sit it down out here. And the moths will come. They don't go right up to the lantern, but they'll come in the vicinity. And I'm trying to catch them and scrape them off the wall and take them outside and throw them outside. Man's humanity to moths. I'm just trying to help them out. I don't want them, if they're in here flapping away all night, buzzing against, they'll be on the outside of the bedroom and they can see the light inside the bedroom. They're trying to get to the light through the wall. So there's a lot of vibrating and a lot of noise and a lot of mess going on. I'd rather just catch them and get them out. If that won't work, then I'll have to deploy Agent Orange and, you know, insecticide them. Because I'm just not putting up with, I can't have 12 hours of, it's annoying. So I try and help them out. If that doesn't work, then I execute them. That's just the way it is. So that was Monday evening, Monday night into Tuesday morning. Dog walk and solar early on. Cool box on and running, getting the cool air through it before the sun gets up and on the box, getting the solar panel in place, in readiness for the sun coming up. But the main thing is trying to run that cooler air through it before the sun gets up. So that runs another 10 or 20 percentage points down on the EcoFlow. So I have to make sure first that the weather forecast says it's actually going to be a sunny day. I don't want to be getting down around 50% and then find it's going to be raining all day and I'm going to be running out of power by night time. That's no good. Got to manage this stuff, folks. Got to manage it. Now, just lately through my days, see, I spend a lot of time just passing time. I'm a non-productive member of society, which I regret, but it is what it is. I can't leave my dog. She can't travel far. She can't be left on her own. I can't work in Spain without breaking the law. Can't earn money without breaking tax laws. What do? I've got the day to get through and to survive the heat. So I lay down in a what is to begin the day is a cool corner, and at the end of the day it's a cool corner again, but it gets a little hot in between. But I lay there and I've been watching a lot of these AI generated sci-fi stories. So the script is AI generated, the narration of that script is AI generated, and the images behind it are AI generated. And some of the stories have got plot holes as big as your head, but some of them are actually all right. And I've been listening to quite a few of these. They're a mixed bag, like I've written here in my notes, but I like sci-fi, so what can you say? And it's not like it takes up a lot of storage space on my phone because I've run out. I am going to have to start deleting things that I've got on here. So I've got all of the Frankie Howard Up Pompeii. I've got the TV series, and I've got these, is it 3 films? I think it's 3 films. I tried watching one of them and I kept falling asleep that particular night, but I might have a go at that again tonight. I don't know. But yeah, watching these things on YouTube doesn't take up any of my disk space, and it's entertaining enough. I enjoy it. So that's what I had going on this particular morning. Now by 9 o'clock I had to open the tent both sides, get the airflow going, And there's a question of how low. When the sun's over at the east, I will roll this. You see the doorway here. That plastic I will roll right up in the morning, maximum airflow coming in. In an afternoon when the sun's around that side, I will typically lower that down to keep the sun out. I know it's reducing the airflow, but having that shining sun hot on the floor of the tent and then heating up the room is no good. Better to put that down, which I've only half done so far today. I've neglected to do the other half of the job. Such is life. But yeah, managing the heat, managing the power, folks, this is the thing. And just trying to keep entertained through the day while I'm doing it. Now this Tuesday morning, this is when Karen and Kelly arrive on the way to the airport. Karen was taking Kelly to the airport, and this is where they bring me some eggs, they bring me some water, I think a couple of bags of food, and I've got the cool box full, stuffed already. Right, I've got to try and cram stuff in. And after they leave, after Karen leaves taking Kelly to the airport, this is where I find the €20 note on the floor. Loose. Not under a brick, not held by a stone, it's just on the floor. And I figure if it'd been there any length of time, it would have blown away into the field and I would never have seen it. So I suspect Karen or Kelly. They won't admit it. I contacted them afterwards and said, was it you? See, my worry was, what if there'd been two 20s or two 20s and a 10 and 30 of it's blown away, leaving just 20? I wanted to kind of check with whoever the donor was that I'd got everything that there was. Sounds, how does it sound? Self-serving, it sounds cash-centric, but if someone had given me like two 20s and a 10, I wouldn't want 30 of it to blow away, like on their behalf, for their donation to go to waste, but also for me not to get the money. I mean, you know, Tramp living in a field, folks. So I don't know where this 20 came from. The night before, there'd been 2 or 3 incidents that sounded like somebody moving around outside. One of them was the Spanish guy over the field. But if I was to ask him, was that your 20? What are the odds he could say no? Even if it wasn't, he's going to say yes, isn't he? So I didn't ask. They say it wasn't them. So I just, accepted my goodwill. The tooth fairy, that's right. Yeah. So yeah. Now shortly after, I take Tina for a walk, and we get to Tina for once wants to walk a little bit further than normal, and we get to kind of the bottom of the lane where we would used to turn left and go off to the cliffs. We get to that point, and as we get there, this lady, the Spanish lady that I call Morticia, it's not her name, it's just that she's got the long dark hair like the Addams family. She approaches but stays a distance away, and I see her kneeling on the ground putting something down, and I see her picking a stone up and putting a stone on it, which is generally my signal that she's wanting to give me money, but she doesn't want to come right up to me because she's frightened of her ladyship here. Hey Tina, Morticia's frightened of Tina girl. Yeah, she's looking at me all nicely. Let's see if we can get a cute shot for once. Hey Tina, Morticia. No? What about Uncle Ismo? Oh, Ismo. Yeah, she loves her Uncle Ismo. Okay. So yeah, Morticia gave me so jackpot, €40 in one day, and both on the ground, one way or another. One left out here on the ground, and one placed on the ground with a stone over it by the lady down the road. Now later in the day, Yoka stops by and brings beer and ice, and he's leaving the country the next morning. headed back to Sweden, and so we sit and have a couple of beers each, but he leaves me plenty. I think it must have been a 10-pack rather than an 8-pack. We had 2 each and sat in the sun for a couple of hours. So he brought the beer. I think it was Amstel. It was a brand. Whereas I buy the whatever the shop's cheapest own brand kind of thing is, 30 cents a can. He brought the 50 or 60 cents a can stuff, and a bag of ice to put in the cool box. So I put 4 or 6 beers in the cool box, and we drink a couple each, sat out. This will come back. This is important on Friday. I don't just mention this just for oh, Karen's saying it might have been hers, but she's hinting it might have been hers without saying it was hers. I don't know. Yeah, Karen had this like a money wallet, but it's like a plastic, looks like a cardboard cigarette box that opened. It looks like that, but plastic, that she was keeping cards and things in. It wasn't anywhere that you'd been stood, Karen, I don't think, because it was over by my bin at the other end of the tent. I don't think you'd been over that side, but it was loose, so I don't know. Maybe it was yours. Not anymore. Sorry. Okay, where am I, folks? Where am I? Morticia gives me Yoka brings beer and ice. Karen would have handed it to me if she'd intended. So Yoka's leaving. He brings beer and ice, and he asks me. He says that his friend Yare has been saying whenever he comes over, "Will you be seeing Delta Mike? Will you be seeing Delta Mike?" So Yoka's asked me to. I said it earlier. I'll say it again now because we're in that part of the week. But shout out to Yare. He's his friend from Finlandia. Kipis, Yare, and Yoka. Okay, folks. After Yoka leaves, quiet, straightforward rest of the afternoon, and a quiet night in. Tuesday night in. 10 p.m. walk with her ladyship here, and we settle in for the night. And at 12 a.m., almost exactly on midnight, we definitely got an animal brushing down this side of the tent. Definitely. 100%. Absolutely. Now, we've had cats in the past that liked to sit on the edge of the tent. They'd actually sit on the wall of the tent and press it down for the warmth that it's collected through the day. Tina used to do it as well with one of the tents. I don't think it was the last tent, but the one before, she used to do it. Before she ripped the shit out of it on 3 sides. There's a reason she's called Death and Destruction, folks. You got to watch the videos. Watch the videos back. Tina, Death and Destruction. But definitely got... now, whether it was as big as a cat or not, we have had... Should I tell you this now? It's out of step, but I had a friend round the other day, and while we were sat outside, a rat crossed part of the field. Daylight. Like 4 or 5 in the afternoon. And then the friend left and we came inside, and about 7 there was a rat walking direct towards the tent. We got the door open and Tina's here, and this rat strolled up towards, she started barking and was like trying to get out the door and go get it. They never used to bother her. They used to run through one of our tents and she ignored them. But this time she was perturbed by its presence. She let me know about it, and I saw the damn thing. And even after she was barking at it, it was still walking towards the door in daylight. So here's the question. Was the thing that brushed against the tent the night in question big enough to be a cat? Or was it a rat? My traps aren't big enough for a rat. My traps are lethal, but they're mouse-sized. I think if they went off on a rat, I think the rat would just walk away laughing and take the trap with him. Had that happened before. Yeah, no, I don't know. But yeah, it's a development. When you see rats, I read up on it earlier, or yesterday, whenever. When you see rats out during the day, it's a sign that either there's a lot of rats in the area and there's a lot of competition, and so they're out like competing for resources because there's too many of them in a given area. Well, that's the main the fact that there might be a lot of them, or they're desperate. Maybe there's just not enough food around. I guess that's similar. It's tied together. There might not be enough food around because there's too many rats, or there might just not be enough food around, and so they're having to come out not at night because they're essentially nocturnal, unless something propels them, something makes them come out during the day. Either way, I don't want the little bastards around here. Now, fortunately, last night we saw a cat right outside the tent here. So I'm hoping that the noise, that the thing that brushed against the tent was a cat, and that the cat's here because the rats are here, and it'll take care of them over time. That is my positive. I'm looking at it positively. The thing that brushed against the tent in the middle of the night was a cat. Keep telling myself that, and hope that I manifest it. I don't believe in woo-woo normally, woo-woo manifesting things, but I'd rather it was a cat brushing against the tent than a rat, because eventually rats will bite through and come inside. We don't want that. We've had that before, and I do have traps for mice, but I don't have rat traps at the minute. Did I ever do a separate video just about the mouse traps? I don't think I did. I think I introduced them during a TrampCast like this, and I showed them. They're lethal. I mean, they're vicious. They're fantastic. I love them. The first night I got them, we killed 6 in one night inside the tent. None the next night, 3 the night after, 1 the morning after that, and then 1 per week for a couple of weeks after, until we got the new tent. But yeah, yeah. Okay, so cats or whatever brushing against the tent. This is Tuesday night, midnight, into Wednesday morning, 8 a.m. dog walk. I wanted another hour in bed. Somebody wouldn't let me. She insisted. She made it look urgent. We don't want accidents, so off I take her. After the dog walk, coffee's at the bottom of the tent there. Make my coffees, put the solar panel out, line up the EcoFlow, and within 15 minutes we've got issues with the EcoFlow. Fluctuating wildly. 10 watts, 60 watts, 15 watts, up and down like a yo-yo. Something's wrong. The sky was normal and stable. There was no reason for it to be up and down. It's not like there was a cloud, now you see me, now you don't. It was a clear sky, sun on the panel, panels in place, it's not rocking, no shadows across it. So off and on again. But you can't turn the EcoFlow off while it's got power coming in. It doesn't go off. You have to unplug it, wait a few seconds, then kind of reboot it. Okay. Next thing you know, the forecasts start saying rain. Rain early morning and then all afternoon. This is what the weather forecast tells us. And we start getting cloudy skies, and then the forecast says mixed morning with hold on, what happened there? Okay. Somehow. Really? Somehow that was the end of the notes for Wednesday. I don't know if I've messed up there somehow while writing them out. We're going from Wednesday morning. Must have been a boring, ordinary, everyday. We get this with the forecast and it says, oh, rain all day, and it puts it off and puts it off and puts it off. Next thing you know, folks, it's Thursday morning apparently, with an early morning dog walk. Coffees, all the usual stuff. Cloudy skies. Forecast says mixed morning with thunder and lightning later. See what I mean about rain yesterday becomes rain today, and then it's, oh, thunder and lightning this afternoon. Now, this was Karen's last full day in Spain, and I had a bad realization. We'd spoken a while before about my card being broken and me not having money. How am I going to survive the next month or two? And we'd said I was going to send her PayPal money and she'd get me real world money. And like an idiot, I'd done nothing about it. I'd totally forgotten. And I had this sudden realization on her last day when she's running around. She's got a house to clean. She's got things to pack. She's got preparations to make, things to do. She was also picking up a new car. And I'm putting extra stress on. Whoops, Karen, sorry, the money thing. Sorry, Karen. I am a useless idiot sometimes. So there I am piling extra woes on Karen when she's already got a stressful day and a half ahead of her. Her last day, and she's running around trying to get money from me. 11 a.m. Here comes the rain. Finally, we've been waiting 2 days, kind of thing, and here it comes. Yeah. The rain's on and off, and I'm using the fan most of the day. Despite the rain, it's still warm. I'm trying to keep the air moving in the tent, and I start watching the Scottish couple in Spain. That's the name of their channel. A bloke called Barry and his wife Karen, the Scottish couple, and they're a little bit further south. I think they're the other side of Torrevieja, and so they got the rain and thunderstorms first. So I'm watching to see whether it's coming this way or whether it's going to kind of blow that way and miss us. He got the heavy rain first, but I thought it was going to miss us. But eventually we did get the rain, but it was something and nothing, and no thunder and lightning, fortunately. But it was funny. It was kind of clearer skies over there and dark there, and we were just on the dividing line, but we were just the wrong side of the dividing line. We were just under the clouds. I think I did a video on it. Yeah, I did a video on it in case it was spectacular, but nothing much came of it. And later on, the sun came back out, and it was a standard kind of, a standard evening, and we walk the dog, wrap up things, and inside for the evening. But Wednesday evening, folks, that's Scruff Dog. Oh no, this is Thursday. You see, look, now I must have tried to watch Scruff Dog on Wednesday. Why have I not got these notes? I've messed up with my notes. So this is Thursday, but Scruff Dog was on. He does every second Thursday. He does an MRE stream. That's a meal ready to eat, a military ration pack kind of meal. So he does a shorter stream on a Thursday night, our time, and yeah, he eats the military ration pack type stuff. But I've been falling asleep through a lot of his programs lately. Sorry, Scruff, it's me, not you. My sleep pattern's just been off that little bit. Into Friday morning, folks, into Friday. And I woke early. And I tried watching some videos and I kept snoozing. And if you've ever tried like watching a film on your phone or something, and you get about 10 or 15 minutes in and you're asleep, and when you wake up the film's kind of finished. So you rewind it back to a part that you remember and you start watching, and maybe you watch half an hour and you fall asleep and you wake up just as it finishes. So you rewind it to a part I had 4 goes at this fucking film. 4 goes at watching this film. Ridiculous. Tina wanted to walk at 7:30, but I really didn't want to. I really couldn't stir. After the broken night's sleep, I just did not want it at all. So we compromised and we went out at 8:30. I got an extra hour for once. Basically, she didn't get a choice. The eco flow's down to 75%, and by 8:30 we're getting 35 watts. At 8:30 we're getting 35 watts in. So basically, the sun's already out and shining on the cool box. So we got to get the if you see here, look. You see the solar panel, can you see that? The solar panel lives on top of the cool box overnight like that, protecting it from rain and things. And in the afternoon and evening it's catching the sun and keeping the box in shade. But in the morning when the sun's coming from over that tree there, it's hitting the far side of the cool box. So I have to lower the solar panel down to the side of the cool box so that A, it catches the sun, and B, it protects the cool box. It keeps the cool box in shade, stops the food getting warm and going off. So yeah, so 35 watts by 8:30, 70 watts by 9 a.m. Do you remember a few weeks ago it was almost 10 a.m. before we were getting any real power? And now here we are talking about 8:30, 9 o'clock and having a full... Hey. Look, I hurt my back the last time I did this. Quiet. It's just a lady walking past. Leave the nice people alone. Where was I, folks? Quick swig of the beer. Oh, almost empty can. We're almost an hour and a half in. Empty can. I will fold it down. My bin's over there. I can't reach it from here, so I'll just have to put that on the floor for now. Crack open the next one because, you know, it's hot in here. How hot? Still above 30. Just below 32, so we'll call that 31. Still warm in here. Excuse me. Should I check chat quickly? How far behind am I with chat? I've probably got hundreds. Oh no, I saw Karen say get your traps out. I would have handed you the 20 if I wanted to give you 20, yeah. Showing me the wallet. Sheds asks, how did you get the dog? Oh wow, have you not seen this story? Oh, this is a tale and a half. Way back, 8 years ago, when I'd been in the country 6-7 months, as we approached Christmas. I entered the country in February, so I think early December, first week in December maybe. I'm sat in the park having a beer with friends one afternoon, and a lady had fostered Tina. She'd fostered her from a place right down in Murcia, a place called Albox, from a charity called APSA, APSA, which is an animal charity. And the lady, she had a dog of her own, but was a little bit her dog was a little bit aggressive, and she thought maybe another dog would stabilize things, calm things down. So she'd seen on Facebook Tina's story. Basically, Tina had been abandoned by somebody and had been living rough for a few months and was like skeletal. And she'd seen a family that must have talked to her. She must have liked them or something. And a couple of weeks after they'd first seen her, she came to their door. Tina went to their door and knocked on their door, banged her head on their door. Let me in. She was starving to death. And they looked after her for a couple of weeks and got her stable and got her, but they didn't have the facilities or I don't know, maybe just not the intention of looking after a dog. So they contacted the animal charity, and the charity had put the message out on Facebook. So this lady fostered Tina before Tina even made it like to the kennels. Took her in, fed her up for a few weeks, but it wasn't working out with her other dog. So this lady had put a Father Christmas hat on Tina and taken a photograph and gone out and got 200 leaflets printed, 200 posters, A3 size posters, saying looking for a forever home. And the dog was called Albertina at the time. Albertina, which, you know. But this lady, she came and she walked through the park. She lived nearby. She walked through the park, and there was quite a few people in the park. She sat at the next table over from me. And I looked at the dog, and the dog looked at me, and we looked away. And a couple of minutes later, I glanced over, and she's already looking at me. So the smiles and things, we're smiling at each other and kind of playing a game. And every time I look, she's already looking. Or if she's not, I look, and then she detects and she looks. And a guy came over and he said, if you don't take that dog, I'm never talking to you again. Basically, of the 200 leaflets that this lady printed, I had the first leaflet and I got the dog. So she'd wasted her money printing the other 199 leaflets. I went home that night without her. You know, you don't agree to pick up a dog after you've had a few beers. You sleep on it. Except I didn't. I walked past my house and I walked down Avenida de la Mancha. I was on Avenida de la Mancha, Royal Inter Park Dos. And I walked past that. I walked down to what's the shopping centre called? Not sure what the commercial centre's called. But there's a bar there called Carlos. It's not Bar Carlos, it's in the centre of Torrevieja. Cafeteria Carlos, they call it. But just before it, there's a Chino Bazaar. I walked in, I bought a 2 metre by 1 metre cushion, 4 times too big. But I bought this big fuck off cushion. I bought a lead, I bought a ball, I bought some chew toys and dog food. I got the works. I just walked into the Chino Bazaar and just one of everything. Spent about 40 euros and took the lot. In my mind, it was a done deal. We were already done. The next day, I go back to the bar to meet the lady, and we sit talking for a while. And I assumed that it was obvious. I thought it was a done deal. And after an hour, she says, I'm confused. Are we doing this or not? And I was like, yeah, of course we are. I thought it was obvious. I thought I wouldn't have been here if not. What are you, where's the doubt? So that's when I got Albertina. And I shortened it, obviously, because I wasn't wandering around the street shouting that mouthful. I shortened it to Tina, and that's what's on her passport and what have you now. Hey, girl. You're my little Tina girl. Well, yeah, you see, long story short, isn't it? Okay, there's a tooth fairy coming. I saw that one. Okay, and there was Timmy's comments that okay. Onwards, folks, onwards. Get your traps out with Karen's. That's the last comment here. I don't know if it's actually the last comment. Just in case, I'm gonna go top chat and then live chat just to check I'm up to date. I think I am. Chat's gone quiet. Okay. I was at the end of Friday, was I? No, not quite. Hold on. Let me see where I was. No, I wasn't anywhere near the end of Friday. Tell me, folks, where was I? Okay, I watched Barry. We did the Thunder and Lightning. Yeah. Standard evening. Okay, Scruff Dog and the MREs. Did I get past that? Yeah. Friday morning, Tina wanted to walk and I didn't, so we waited till 8:30. There was some EcoFlow stuff and some electric stuff. But the tent got hot, and I had both doors open really early, like 9 o'clock. For the first time in a few weeks, I felt like achieving. I was in the mood. Since I emptied the tent out, we put the tent up and I moved things across. I got in a bit of a, not a downer like depression, just not doing so much. Didn't finish bringing things in or throwing things out. Kind of still haven't. But for the first time in a while, so I had all this stuff piled up on the big pine dining table that Tom brought me a while back. And I suddenly decided to start washing all my plates and pots and pans, and I washed them, dried them, brought them in. They're over here and they've fallen over because Tina. Did I mention death and destruction? I had them on top of a plastic box and she's nudged them and nudged them and nudged them and they've all fallen over. Nothing broke this time, but, well, I say nothing broke. She did knock over, Ismo brought me like a bottle of detergent, spray cleaner kind of stuff. Tina knocked it over and poured it, and I didn't realise she'd twisted the lid. It's all leaked. I was sat here thinking, oh, what's that wonderful smell? What's that aroma? What plant must that be out there smelling so nice? It's the next day I found out it wasn't a plant out there. It was a bottle of cleaning detergent in here that spilled on the floor and got everywhere. And I've now got an empty spray bottle that went nowhere. Dog! Yeah, so after I finished washing dishes and drying them and bringing them in and failing to find a space to put them, apparently, I decided to empty a couple of the drawers in the chest of drawers over here. The wooden one, that one in the bedroom there. I emptied a couple of drawers out and converted them from having pairs of trousers that I was never going to wear, long pants and jeans and things. I converted them into kind of utility drawers, somewhere to put a pair of scissors and some duct tape, a sewing kit, and all of that. I set aside some space and started freeing up. I've mentioned in the past about every flat surface becomes like a junkyard. It becomes you just put shit down and over time it builds up. Well, I've started moving the stuff from off the flat surfaces. The packets of paracetamol or ibuprofen, a Pritt stick, a glue stick, just anything that's like general utility gets thrown. It's that drawer that you would have the lock where you don't have the keys, or the keys where you don't have the lock. The old chargers for phones that you don't have anymore. It's that drawer. They're over there. I've now got space for that stuff. Yeah. AA and AAA batteries, proper ones, not rechargeable ones, that I will only use like in an emergency, but somewhere to put them. You see here, I wrote that it was somewhere to put a spare head torch, but I've just had an issue with my main head torch. Sorry, Karen. It's fantastic. It's been fantastic. Now, when you click it and press the button, when I clicked it one time, it went snap. Something, the button that activates is stood on two metal legs with a plastic ledge across, and the plastic gave. So when you press the button now, it will press and come on, but then the whole thing drops down and through and you can't press it again. So I have it ready and primed and can turn it on, but then I have to take it out, disassemble it, take batteries out and push the thing back up so that I can turn it off again. So I do have a spare one that Adam and Mel brought me, and that's in the drawer there. But when I made these notes, the main one hadn't broken. Spanish one, you got it at what's the sports shop called? Decathlon. Yeah, I got there first. I won that race. Decathlon, yeah. But it's the merest. Everything else about it's perfect. It's just the button that activates it that squashes in when you push it. That's a shame. I really did like it. You're a slow typer. Yeah. I knew it had something. I had the number 10 in my head, and I couldn't get there. So anyway, yeah, I've got my drawer in my utility drawer where things are. So yeah. I also had some things to sort out. I tidied and sorted through some. I had some overflow food, some it sounds terrible saying excess food, but people bring me bags when they're leaving the country, and some of the things in them you've only got a limited time to use. If you bring me a bag and it's got tomatoes in that you've already had a week, I've only got like 2 days to get to them, otherwise they're going to start going off, and sometimes I don't get around to them. So I had to sort through and sort things out, because I knew I had someone coming round shortly. 1800 hours. That's 6 o'clock for you Yanks that don't do military time. Adding and subtracting 12 is so difficult. 1800, 18 o'clock, 6 p.m. Karen and family arrive on the way to the airport. Like I said, guys, themes for the week. Everyone's leaving me. Ismo, Yokka, Steve, Karen, Tom the previous week, and Anthony a week before that, probably. Themes for the week. I'm being deserted. I'm all little and lost and lonely in a foreign country where I don't speak the language. So Karen arrives, and this we've already discussed some of it, but yeah. I did a video of what Karen brought. There was a lot. I think there was 2 big bags of food. There was a big bag of water, and in amongst the water was I think it was about 200 ml. I'm not quite sure, but I think it's it wasn't quite a half bottle, and it was maybe bigger than a third, or I don't know, some in betweeny size. But a bottle of vodka. And in amongst the other stuff, there was some orange. So vodka and orange on Friday night. And this was when I went to put it in the cool box after I filmed the video. After she left and I filmed the video, I went to put what I could fit into the cool box in there. And I mentioned in the video that I'd had the last of Yokka's beer that afternoon, the Friday afternoon. So it was nice. Start the weekend, folks. Friday afternoon. Somewhere 4 or 5 o'clock, start with a beer, and I thought it was my last beer. So I drank this, what I thought was my last beer, and I mentioned it in the video. But when I went into the cool box with some of the things, I couldn't fit everything Karen brought in there, but I tried to prioritize like the yogurts and some of the fresh stuff, put in the cool box. And while I was in there, I pulled out another can of Yokka's beer. So yeah, there I was with a cold beer, not cold, but I will say cool, felt cool to me in this tent. Possibly, according to the thermometer in there, possibly only a little under 20 degrees. But compared to everything around me, that felt cool. I think it might have been a little cooler. I don't entirely trust the thermometers that I'm using. But anyway, it felt cool. It felt like, it didn't feel cold, but it did feel cool. So I had a can of cool beer, and for later, I had this vodka and orange. Sorted. So thank you, Karen, for not just for the vodka but for the food and everything. And I said earlier, thank you, Karen and family, for everything. All the help with the tent, all the help with everything during this visit. Superb. You are literally 1 in a million. Fantastic. Where would I be without you? So yeah, this was when I came to the realization that there's Mark, an Englishman who came back over a couple of weeks ago. Mark's here. I've got Adela, the Spanish lady at the top of the road, and David, one of you guys, who came around for the first time the week before the one that we're talking about. Talked about him yesterday, because yesterday we were talking about the week prior to the one in these notes. And I think that's everybody. That's everybody. Little and lost and lonely, folks. So anyway, I drank Yoka's beer and I set the vodka and orange to one side, and I picked at some of the more snacky things that Karen had left, and I had a good Friday night, just snacking, just grazing on all the yogurts and the chocolate puddings and those crepes that are filled with chocolate. I went through all the sweet stuff first, obviously. You've got to prioritise. It's like, I think it was Farmer said, he sent me advice. He was like, oh yeah, you got to eat the yogurts and this and get that. And I said, yeah, don't worry. I said, I was really fearful the vodka might go off, so I prioritised that. I had to drink the vodka quickly before it might go off. I had a real feast, just snacking on the good stuff, including the beer and then the orange and the vodka and orange. Had a good night, watching random vids, and here we go, look, fell asleep so early that I didn't take Tina for walkies. She would generally get a walk 5 or 6 o'clock in an evening, and then somewhere around midnight. But if I fall asleep at 10 or 11, she has to wait until I wake up in the night, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and I'll take her. If it gets really desperate, she will generally wake me. She'll, lick my face, nudge me, headbutt me, or I'll start whimpering if it gets desperate. But 6 or 7 hours isn't a problem for her. That's not a problem. She can hang on. She can do 12 or 15 hours at a push if she has to. Anyway, yeah, I fell asleep early. So that was Friday night. Into Saturday morning. Wake at 3 a.m. and my phone's dead. I'd left it playing videos or whatever by my head when I fell asleep. It's dead. Okay, I woke up, brought the EcoFlow into the bedroom and plugged the phone in. And after 10 minutes, I'm up to 15%. So I start the phone, take Tina for a walkies in the night. And then again at 5:30. So we go out twice in the night because Tina. 7 in the morning, I bring the EcoFlow back out of the bedroom, plug the panel in, set it up in readiness, get ready to get as much power as possible. I've got all this food in the cool box, got to keep as much power on as early as possible, try and maintain that food, with the understanding that the cool box just isn't functioning as efficiently or as well as it should. Instead of getting down around 13 degrees like it did last year, it's getting just below 20, maybe 19, maybe 18. It's possibly lower, but I have tried 2 different thermometers and they both do hover around that same range. As I said though, I had some beer and it did feel cooler than that. A 20-degree beer would be warm, wouldn't it? I mean, that would be warm to drink. This was cool, so I don't know. But anyway, I got up that next morning and got the power going because you've got to try and preserve the food as much as possible. There are yogurts, there are chocolate puddings, there's lettuce and tomato and I don't know. It's a while ago now. And it was mixed in with other things that Karen had brought earlier, and other people had brought me some things as well. So there's a mixture in there and a mescla. But okay, so yeah, the cool box. The EcoFlow was on 85% when I first turned the cool box on, but I ran the cool box down to 60% by running it before there's any sun coming in. So there's power going out, none coming in. But I don't like to get below 60%, maybe 50% at a push if I'm confident the weather's going to be good. Like it says here in my notes, the cool box isn't too cool. So yeah. Saturday, sunny day. Too hot in the tent, I've written here. And yeah, that's basically that's it for Saturday through the day. Managing the heat, managing the power, trying to keep the cool box cool. Into Saturday night, which means bigclive.com and Scruff Dog, the two things that I watch every week, or try to. For the last few weeks before these notes were written, I'd been falling asleep through Scruff Dog's programs. I made a serious effort to stay awake this time. Made an actual effort. Cups of coffee and everything. And I get within 5 minutes of the end, but I don't see the end. I remember him saying, we'll be bringing it to a close in a few minutes. I don't remember seeing the end. I fell asleep again. But close enough. Close enough. So that's Saturday night. I'll take a break and a drink there, folks, and have a look at chat, see if there's anything to respond to. If you got any questions, folks, now's your chance, now's your time. Oh, we broke the record last night for the number of thumbs up while live. 23 had been the previous record, as far as I recall. I think we hit 24 or 25. So that was good. If there's anybody out there now that hasn't taken the hint, consider it. You can always hit the thumbs up for us. Do not subscribe unless you've seen 3, 4, maybe 5 of my videos. Make sure that I am someone that you want to come back to. I'm not everybody's cup of tea. The topic is a little bit niche. I am a homeless guy, a tramp, a hobo, a vagrant, an indigent person, a person of no fixed abode. Some would say a bum. Someone who sleeps rough or on the streets, or in my case, in a field. That's a bit niche. Not everybody's going to want to follow the adventures of the homeless English tramp in Spain. Torrevieja on the southeast coast of Spain, Costa Blanca South. So yeah, make sure that that this is for you before subscribing. I don't want people subscribing who then never watch. That damages the channel a little bit in YouTube's eyes. So let me I'm waving fingers in front of the chat. Slow typer. Caught in glaze. Timmy said no, it was decathlon. Tim Timony says we don't have Repsol petrol stations here. What, in the UK? No, I believe not. A great life on the camp cliff with Doggy and yourself. You say this often, Tim Timony, and yeah, there are good aspects of it. Rats, mice, police. They're worse than the rats. The mayor picking a fight with me. It's not plain sailing. I have literally, guys, I have not been to a supermarket this year. I can't get to a supermarket. The supermarket's a kilometre away. My dog can't walk more than 30 yards. Or meters, whichever you prefer. They're about the same. It's not the easiest life. It's not the... I know some people think it's the high life. It's part... I'm in the sun, great weather. It's too hot half the year. 50 degrees in summer. Inside the tent. Who was I talking to last night? Spanish bloke, David. David, it gets to 45 degrees where he is. Not in a tent. That's just outside. Zaragoza. Or Zaragoza. Whichever way you want to do your th-th-th-ths. I'm not exactly sure. But, yeah, you had a feast, says Karen. Is that the last comment? You guys stopped talking to me. Looks like it. Did I bore you? Sorry. Oh, that beer is nice. Not as cold as I would like, but As Keith Chegwin would say, cheggers can't be boozers. Poor Cheggers, drank himself to death, didn't he? Beggars can't be choosers. It's a spoonerism, folks. Swap the beginning of one word with the beginning of another. Beggars can't be choosers. Cheggers can't be boozers. Jack Attack. Just arriving? You're going to tell me you've been lurking all along. I know you. Okay, folks, shall we crack on? Where was I? Well, I looked at the wrong part. I just finished Saturday night, haven't I? I got to within 5 minutes of the close of play with Scruff Dog. Lurk. You always claim lurk. Okay, folks. Sunday morning. Tina seems desperate for a 7 a.m. walk. So I take her. Nothing. I've got up and out of bed and out. The sun, it's just above the horizon. You can't really see it, but it's daylight-ish. But I'm out, 7 a.m. with my dog, carrying the back end. She doesn't want anything. Nothing. No pee, no poo. Fucking dog. But we come back around. We went out of this door and back around and in through the other door. And that's where her water is. That's what she was after. She drank about a gallon of water. That's what she wanted. She just didn't indicate to me properly. We need a different signal for whatever it is she needs. Normally for water, she'll lick her lips and make it obvious there's a smacking of the lips. She didn't do that. It was more of a whimper, which made me think that she wanted the other. But anyway, off we went and we got back and she drank a lot of water. And 7 a.m. and we're up now, so thanks Tina, yeah. EcoFlow is down to 65% from the night before. I put the cool box on and pretty rapidly we got down below 50% before I knew what was happening. Sun gets up above the trees and starts actually charging. The sun gets above the tree and starts putting some useful input into the solar panel. By 8:45 we're back above 50%. While we're waiting for all that to happen, I watch a few videos. What have we got here? Oh, this was the one I mentioned in one of the hangouts. Guys, you gotta watch these videos. I know it's a little bit controversial, but there's this thing adopted from America called auditing. It's basically checking out the police's reaction. So a guy walks around with a camera and some people are a little bit uneasy. Now you're being recorded wherever you go, and the law basically says that while you're in public, you have no expectation of privacy. So a guy walks around with a camera and some people phone the police and say, oh, we don't like this and we feel uncomfortable, blah, blah, blah. And the police come along, despite there being no crime reported, and they harass this guy. There's a guy called, his YouTube channel, Auditing Britain. And you want to check out his videos of Luton Town Centre from, when would this be? From the week ending May the 18th. So just a week, 10 days ago, something like that. Auditing Britain, the videos of the police 10 days ago. They do a search. They say we think you're going equipped for theft just because he's got a backpack on, more or less. They find nothing, which means the search should be over. They arrest him anyway. And they take him to a police station 20 miles away. This is at 3 o'clock in the afternoon they arrest him. He arrives at this police station 4 in the afternoon. They've got nothing on him. There's no legal basis for detaining him, never mind arresting him. Their search came up empty. But they said, oh, we found some items that wouldn't normally be considered useful for going equipped, but we thought that maybe they might be. They released him at 12 o'clock, midnight, 20 miles away from where he started, and they took his phone, which was his main payment method, He had 18 quid or so in his pocket, but he's 18 miles away from where he was, and where he'd started isn't his home, so he's got to get back at midnight. They told him that the train station was around the corner, like the tube station, train station, whatever. It was 4.5 miles away, and it's already midnight. He's got minimal money on him, and they don't even give him his phone. They take his phone to a different police station and tell him he's got to go there now to go and get it. And when they give it him back, the SD card's missing. They've robbed the SD card. He's got a packet that says he's got these two things. There's a pen and an SD card. And the SD card isn't in the bag, which he's kept sealed as proof that that bag's not been tampered with. Tina girl, shush. Guys, what would you do? You've got minimum money on you. Your phone, so the minimum money you've got to use to get from this one police station to another one 20 miles away. Then you've got to go and arrange transport and get home, and the equipment that's been returned to you is incomplete and missing. And the abuse and the attitude of the police while they were dealing with him. Honestly, I know I seem like I've got an anti-police kind of bent. Tina girl! Shut the fuck up! Quiet! Thank you. That's better. What was I saying? I know I sound like I've got an anti-police kind of bent to me, but it's not. I'm against bad policing, and everything you see on his videos. He went back the next day to complain about his missing property, and as he's walking through a shopping centre, this copper just goes off on one. The most disrespectful, abusive. The copper was swearing at a member of the public for no reason. The aggressive attitude. Never seen anything like it. There are MPs and things involved, questions being asked in... Okay, there are MPs involved, questions being asked in Parliament, newspapers covering the story. You gotta go and watch these videos. Auditing Britain. Like I said, some people find it controversial and recording the police and that, but if they're prepared to behave the way they did, knowing that they're on camera, how are these guys going to behave with you when there's no camera around? The guy's property's missing, his SD card missing. Shocking. So anyway, this is what I watched on this Sunday. I've gone off on one, haven't I? See what other people have said. Is anybody commenting? I know it's Cheggers is still on this earth, mate. No way, Cheggers is dead. I remember it well. Cheggers can't be boozers because of the alcoholism. I remember it. Don't tell me I've been Mandela affected again. That would shock me. What is the secret to your longevity? Tortilla, Kinder Bueno? I haven't got longevity. What am I? I'm only 56. What are you on about, longevity? Cheggers is still on the earth, mate, not a spirit. Can't be. Keith Chegwin's dead. I remember it. Maggie Philbin, his ex-wife. I remember her being all on the news and sad about it. Auditing Britain is a foreigner in Britain taking the... He is clearly of a I would have guessed Southeast Asian persuasion, but I don't think he's taking the piss. I think that if the police are prepared to behave like that on camera with a member of the public, as far as I'm concerned, any police officer who swears ever while in uniform should be gone. Even if the member of the public is swearing. You as a member of the public have a right to kind of free speech and what have you. They're an arm of the government. They're a wing of the state who can bring violence down upon you, can kidnap you and lock you up, take you away from your family. And that's what they're walking around looking to do continuously. I say that as soon as they abuse their authority, as soon as they're disrespectful to the public, they should be gone. And if you watch that video of Auditing Britain from 10 days ago or thereabouts in Watford, with PC Dum Dum, they've called him. His name was something like PC Gum Dum. Tell me that's a good old-fashioned British name. I'm not. I've watched I've watched quite a few AB videos, and I quite like the guy. I like his response. I find him proportionate. He only gets lippy when they've been abusive with him already, in my humble opinion. But we can agree to differ on it. Anyway, that's what I did. I spent my Sunday morning watching a couple of those videos, and it got to 11 o'clock. Normally 12 o'clock I would start my notes ready for TrampCast. I decided to give myself an hour's head start on the notes for TrampCast 67, but I couldn't really get going. I was trying to get ahead with notes and get more done so that I could catch up, but it didn't really work that time. But eventually I got on top. We did TrampCast, and that was my week, folks. That was the week that was. So that was not the Sunday, not yesterday, but that was a week ago. So what was I looking forward to? What was upcoming in my mind for the following week? Just the fact that I'm little and lost and lonely. I haven't got many people out here with me. And the temperature, the weather, the heat, and the occasional showers. I got somebody walking through the field. Oh, the other side of the trees, maybe. I've still got to finish sorting some of this stuff out. That's got to get done. And that would have been on my mind a week ago, as it is still now. I've brought some of it over ready to put in, but it hasn't actually made it into the tent and been sorted. And worse than that, worse than not getting into the tent and being sorted, I had to go looking for some stuff, and it wasn't where I thought it was, and I had to make room for this fan to put here, which meant moving these bags. So now things are starting to get piled up on top of each other, not necessarily in the organised manner that I wanted initially. It was supposed to be stuff around the edge and one row of stuff in the middle, leaving two walkways either side of the middle, but it's ended up a little bit fuller and a little bit more stacked. And like whenever you organise everything and then you can't find stuff, the first time you go routing to find stuff, your system goes to shit. So yeah, but that, folks, that was the week that was. That was my experience. Those were my successes, my failures, and the other happenings in my week for the week ending May the 18th, 2025. I can't be fact-checking when you ask me to look it up. Why not? Oh, Tim Timoney's not a fan of auditing Britain. Thinks he should have been deported. I think he's born there, mate. I think he's probably second or third generation. His accent's pretty, pretty good. His accent's normal for in the Midlands somewhere, I would say, the southern end of the Midlands. I like it when he pretends to not be able to speak English, or when he starts talking Italian to them. Anyway, folks, any more questions? I am going to try. I need to do one more episode to be caught up. If I can get one more TrampCast proper done this week, which would be the one that should have been yesterday. Yesterday I should have been talking about the 7 days prior. If I can get that done tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, and be ahead of myself, on Sunday I can talk about this week. We can be back on track with things, and I won't be referring to notes and only half remembering events, which is all a little bit awkward. Yeah. No, like I say, Tim Timony, AB can be cheeky with them, but he's funny with it, and he doesn't initiate the awkwardness. He's respectful until they're not. From what I've seen of him, and I've watched quite a lot, it's kind of a pet peeve of mine, police misbehaving, for obvious reasons. Yeah. But anyway, folks, I am going to try and get back on top. If I can, my notes are, well, they're not, my notes are started for the week just gone. I was going to get on with them today, but didn't get to it. But if I can get those written up tomorrow, and either do something tomorrow or Wednesday, Thursday at the latest, give myself some breathing space, and I can be up to date by Thursday. By Sunday, I can be talking about the week. How long is it now since I was talking about the week? You know, doing them actually on schedule. I think we have to go back to the beginning of March. Yeah, there, look. March the 9th, I think we talked about the week ending March the 9th. March the 30th, we were talking about March the 16th. So we'd skipped a couple of weeks, I think. Yeah. We'd not broadcast on the 16th when we should have, and we'd not broadcast on the 23rd either. So we skipped 2 weeks. So that's what we're catching up with now. So hopefully, folks, we will get there. So thank you very much for being here with me. If you haven't hit the like already, if you haven't done the thumbs up, you might like to consider that on the way out. Maybe leave a comment, not a chat, but a comment after we finish. Maybe share it out there. That would be wild, wouldn't it? Share if you dare was the phrase I used a couple of weeks ago. There's a thing, folks. The TrampCast hangouts that go on for 5 or 6 or 7 hours through the night, those get processed by YouTube within 15 minutes of the stream ending. Whereas these shorter ones, these 2-hour ones or 3-hour ones, those can take 12 or 15 hours to be processed. But yeah, there you go. Now, I don't think I'm going to do a hangout tonight. I did one yesterday. I haven't got any topics to go at, and you guys all ran out of things to talk about. But sometime soon, maybe one day this week, later in the week, maybe if I do get around to doing the missing episode, maybe we'll do a hangout later that night. Okay, folks, I think that's me. I'll have a quick check of chat in case anybody did just say anything. This is the official TrampCast, but not on Sunday. Yeah. Fact checking sounds like I'm constantly wrong, and you're correcting me, which isn't the case. I don't know, mate. I don't know. Okay, folks, let's bring this to a close. Thank you all for being here. Love you all. Here we go. Hey, Tina. This way, babe. Hey, babe. No, yeah, get the back. From Tina, who almost turned around. From Tina. And from me, Delta Mike. That click didn't take. Out.